next up is about finding long tail keywords. And they asked, I'm currently looking for long tail keywords both for my Google Ads campaign and for my website. I typed in my keywords into Google and scrolled down to the People Also Ask section. Are those questions considered long tail keywords, or am I doing it wrong?
So long tail keywords are basically anything that's like 4 or 5 words or more. All right. Short tail would be like 2 or 3 words. So, if you said like real estate, that's short tail, right? You take dog training or dog's very short tail. Dog training is short tail. Dog training Tampa is still kind of like a medium, kind of beginning of a long tail because you've got a qualifier in there. But if you do where can I find a dog trainer to train my bad Yorkie, which people search for, that's a long tail search, right? That's where you're getting this long tail, these sort of questiony kind of things that are coming out. Now, there are definitely tools out there that you can use. One that's been around for a while, I think it got bought up recently by Neil Patel, is Answer the Public. Answer the Public was always a good one that you could use. I don't know. I think you can only get like a little bit of them right now. But if I type in, let's go ahead. Yeah, skip that. All right. So I'm going to go in here and let's say I go back to dog training. Now I'll say US and it's search. And you'll see here that this tool is now breaking down those things that have questions, 48 questions, right? 40 different questions. I think I used to be able to show it like as in data rather than this wheel. Let's see if there's a list that should do it. This is alphabetical. Dog training lessons near me. That would be considered a long tail. Dog training YouTube channels would be kind of a long tail. Let's see if I can find some other stuff in here. Yeah, I don't like this list here. Let me go back to the wheels. Here's some questions. Why positive reinforcement dog training? Who's walking who dog training? Which treat is best for dog training? Which dog training certification is best, right? What dog training method is best? What are dog training methods? So all of these are questions that people are asking, and they're long tail, right? Can dog training help with aggression? Yeah, it definitely can. Can dog training treats cause diarrhea? I just had this happen with my son's dog the other day. Yes, it definitely can, depending on what the dog can and can't tolerate. So absolutely they can. So here's a bunch of questions. Questions are long tail, right? They're 3, 4, 5 word phrases or more. Here are some prepositions, right? So here we've got dog training without treats book, dog training without clicker, dog training with buttons, dog training with e-collar, dog training with boarding near me. These are long tail keywords. Dog training for aggressive dogs near me, right? So you've got here a main query, the dog training, right? That would be considered by itself a short tail. Dog training for aggressive dogs would also be considered more of a long tail. And in the near me is just someone looking for something close by. Those are a long tail keyword. So this is a great tool to find some great ideas. Any of the paid tools as well, like SEMrush and Ahrefs, Ubersuggest as well would be one. Is another Neil Patel tool. If you guys are looking for a reasonably priced tool that can maybe help you, let me just pull this over for a second, just so we're not grabbing any clients out here. And I've added these 3 words. I'm going to do search in US in English. And you do need a plan to get the full version of this. But again, it's a pretty cheap program overall, like price-wise. Blow it up a little bit. There's obedience training for dogs near me. That's a long tail keyword, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 words. Dog training with boarding near me. Again, another 6-word phrase. Whereas dog training tricks is more of a short tail. Dog training with a clicker, more long tail. And so again, this gives you some, and then you can see things like this. With this tool, they give you a search difficulty score. and they kind of color code it. So the green ones are going to be easier to get. The yellow one's going to be a little bit more in the medium level to be able to rank for, and the red one's going to be harder to get for. So you could see dog training with boarding near me. That's a good one. It's long tail. It's got a good volume, right? It doesn't have a huge difficulty number here. May make it easier to get found. I'm just looking here, dog training and boarding. Dog training and boarding near me. Now, this goes actually back to the other question we talked about earlier, right? Which was about content. Do keywords matter, right? So if I go to this filter and say boarding, I'll just put board, right? Instead of board and boarding. Apply that, see what we get. And you see all these words here: dog training with boarding near me, dog training boarding, dog training and boarding, dog training boarding near me, dog trainer boarding, dog trainer boarding near me, dog training 2-week boarding, boarding school with boarding. So if you look at this, right, these words, they're all the same intent, right? Instead of, I'm looking for a dog trainer that'll kind of take my dog, board them, and train and then give them back in a sense. So what you want to make sure is that you have a page about dog, if you do it, of course, right? If you do training and boarding, you want to have a page for this that talks about dog training and boarding. You want to maybe, have the word boarding and boarding, maybe the word near me used in there. You want to maybe have the word school. You have the word dog trainer and dog training. So you can kind of use all the different pieces that are kind of found in these words and use them within the content of your page and really spell out like why you should train board and train your dog, how to board and train your dog, what to do for the dog, what you're going to get, what the process is, how it works, if you're a good fit, all of these different, what's it going to cost, how long does it take, what are the expectations when I get the dog home, answer all those questions and use the words boarding and training and trainer within it. Maybe use the word near me. And if you've been looking for the dog training or boarding near me, if you've been searching Google for dog training and boarding near me, like I've seen people do that. They just put a question. So if you've been looking on Google for dog training with boarding near me, you've come to the right place. And you get that keyword right up there. Yeah, it's a cheat, so to speak, right? Because you're basically, saying, hey, if you've been searching Google for this and spelling it out, I mean, the word's there. It's not a lie because the person probably just did that, right? Probably just searched Google and they found you. So it's working. So this is the idea. Long tail, what's nice about long tail is there typically is less competition. Typically, people who are looking for something that's long tail are further down the sales cycle. They're closer to buying. I always just use an example in class of my old class when I did them live of digital camera. Someone goes to Google and types in digital cameras. Are they going to buy one that day? Probably not. They don't know what they're looking for. They're probably just looking for research, doing legwork, right? Digital cameras, or maybe they'll type in best digital cameras. Now, if somebody comes and says, Nikon F350, 5 megabit, or 5 megapixel with auto zoom, lens. Well, they know what they want, right? They know exactly what they want, what model they're looking for. They know what kind of memory they want or what kind of zoom they want. And they're a lot closer to buying. And you'd rather have somebody looking for that come to your website than somebody looking for digital cameras. Now, granted, digital cameras is going to be thousands more searches a day, but you're also going up against, Walmart. And yeah, like if I go to digital camera, I guarantee you're not going to find Nikon or Canon, like actual website. Here's Best Buy and here's Amazon. There's a couple of discussion and forums from Reddit. There's some store stuff in here as well. Target. Now, they do have an Explore brands, but notice this is not really an organic listing. This is one of those Google on-page listings here. But then here's, shop moments, more images and stuff from the shopping. Here's BHP photo, another Amazon, more of this. But you don't have, there's San Jose camera, Best Buy again, but you don't see Olympus, you don't see Canon, you don't see, well, here's Canon finally down there. We finally get an actual camera manufacturer down there. But if we were to type in, how about if I type in best right there, best underwater digital cameras. Yeah, how about this one? Best compact digital cameras under $300. By the way, what I'm doing right now, this is another way that you can find good ideas for long form, right? As you begin to type stuff in, Google begins to give you some ideas that might be helpful. And as you can see here, there's a bunch of listings, people looking for digital cameras under 100, under 300, under 500, under 1,000, under 150. Well, you can build out, if you run a digital camera store, build out pages for best digital cameras under $100. List out 5 digital cameras under $100. Why are they under $100? What are they good for? What are they bad for? You know, which one would you recommend? Link them to the store that you have where they can actually buy these cameras. It's another great way to do it. But if I now go to best compact digital cameras under $300, I'm still getting Best Buy. But look, here's amateurphotographer.com, right? ShotKit. There's a couple of videos that are showing up about cheap digital cameras. So great idea for a YouTube video, possibly, right? More Reddit. Here's Consumer Reports. More Amazon as well. Here's Nicole Labarge, right? Has an article on that. But again, we're not seeing as much of here's Street Bounty and DP Review, Review Set, Camera Decision, Pop Photo. See the difference in what comes back now with the long form, the long tail keyword? So long tail has a lot of value. You're not going to get as many searches, of course, but you're going to find better digital cameras. You're going to find people more ready and willing to buy typically because they've spelled it out what they want. I'm just doing a quick one here on digital cameras to show you just the volume of things. And how a tool like this can also help you kind of find some stuff. So digital cameras, 201,000 is the volume. I think this is monthly. Yeah, during a month. Here's digital cameras, Canon PowerShot. That's a little bit more specific, right? Digital cameras, point and shoot. Here's Olympus, secondhand, flip screen, Bluetooth for photography. Even better yet, if I go up here to this difficulty and give me like the easy difficulty, let's see how many of these are long form or long tail keyword. Digital cameras for vintage photos. There you go. That's a great one, right? Long tail. It's got 70 people looking for today. I mean, a month. Difficulties, 19 digital cameras in store near me. Digital cameras that look like film Reddit. Okay. Digital cameras making a comeback. I'm gonna find some other ones here. This is all different like numbers and stuff and dates and times. Digital camera 300K pixel software, resolution, I mean, so many different words here, but all of these things have low competition, right? They'll be easier to get found for. So if you have things that you can kind of work with this, where you can use these keywords within your content, again, where it makes sense. Don't shove keywords in because you see a keyword that, oh, that's an easy, that's a 12 or that's a 4. The volumes are lower as well, as you see this. It's a 0 on average. Maybe it's 1 or 2 a year, but getting found for this, nearly impossible. That's a 72. Getting found for this or digital camera, digital zoom 30x, digital cameras for vintage photos, much better. So long form is great. Use it. And hopefully some of these tools will help you and do some of those ideas will help.
So a follow-up I thought of while you were talking. So a lot of the words you were looking at, longer tails, had the near me tagged in them.
Yeah.
This person was also asking about their Google ads. Would you put near me in a Google ad? That wouldn't make a lot of sense, right?
Yeah, so okay. Probably not in the ad itself, but you can use that word to trigger an ad. Assuming that, you can, so with Google Ads, you can use keywords to trigger an ad to show. You can also use location to trigger an ad, everything down from the zip code up to the city, to the county, to the state, whatever. So you can use those too. I probably wouldn't use near me in an ad, right? It's just people looking for something nearby. So with an ad, yeah, use the near me as a trigger, but not as a conversion factor, right? If the ad's showing, person's going to assume it's near me. Now, you might want to use in the ad your location, right? Like top Tampa digital camera store, or buy digital cameras in Tampa, right? So that at least if you're targeting Tampa and your ad says that you're in Tampa and someone's just looking for near me, your ad's showing because they are in Tampa. Now you've kind of fed back, or Tampa Bay area or something like that. You're now kind of feeding back. The intent was to find something near them. They're near you because your ad wouldn't show to them if they weren't. So you can kind of use the ad to, point them in the right direction that, hey, I'm by where you are. But I wouldn't use it in the ad itself.
Okay, and just my last follow-up on that, and you touched on it a little bit in the earlier question. You were talking about, the old days, and you would take all these long tail keywords and you'd make their own specific page. So now basically your advice is you can look at all those long tail keywords and try to combine them into one long article. Is that?
Yeah. I mean, exactly. If the long tail article are all related, right? I mean, like, let's see if we can find one here. Let me see if I can type in like, here, do a query for water, because underwater became a big thing. Get rid of the difficulty. Yeah, it's not showing. Digital camera's so outdated though. Nobody uses digital cameras anymore. It's another good idea here. I mean, the dog training one, we had the boarding, right? All the different boarding things. So yeah, the goal these days is to provide a piece of content of sufficient length that answers the who, what, where, when, why, and how that we used to do in like 5th grade current events class, right? Kind of explains the story, the information, the product, the service from top to bottom, so that if I know nothing about you and I land on that page, by the time I finish reading that page, assuming I actually read it, I know what you do, I know how you can help, I know what my expectations are, I know what to expect. Maybe I know the price, maybe I don't, maybe at least I'm going to reach out because you've given me so much information, you've given me so much content that makes sense, that answers my questions, that I want to reach out and get some help. So yeah, we're looking at longer form that answers all your questions rather than short, compact, small. In fact, with the latest Google update that's coming out in May, it's probably going to hit a lot of sites that have just been using thin content, short, small content, thin meaning not a lot of words or phrases on it, or using like a bunch of those pages with little to no value on them. They're probably going to get clobbered. So it is a good time now, I would say, for everybody to kind of do a content audit, look at all the pages of your website, see what really is valuable, what really helps users if they find it, and what's just filler, junk, what stuff left over from 8 or 10 years ago if you have an old site that was used strictly for SEO purposes and not for users. And that's really the difference here. One of the key questions we always recommend people ask themselves before undertaking some initiative is the question of, if search engines didn't exist, would I still do this? Right? If a search engine didn't exist, nobody ever knew a search engine, when nobody ever didn't use but would you create 100 pages, one for each keyword phrase, and try to get it ranked? No, you wouldn't do that, right? There'd be no point in it. Why do you do that? You do that in hopes of getting ranked in search. But that doesn't help your users. You're trying to help yourself to get Google to find you. Would you go out and create, 10,000 links using a keyword phrase you want to get found for and pointing back to your website? Well, no. Why did people do that? They did it to try to get ranked, right? And then Google caught on to that, and they came out with an algorithm block to stop that, or to penalize you for doing it, even because they realized it was a manipulation. So if you're doing something in the hopes of manipulating rankings in some way, shape, or form, I can tell you this: It may work for a little while, but I guarantee you it will not work for the long haul. It will not be sustainable. And while you might make a few bucks now, you may risk losing the entire site in the future and all of the productivity that you've done over the years. So ask yourself that question. Would I do this if search engines didn't exist? And the second question I like to ask, I like to say people ask themselves is, would you be comfortable explaining what you're doing to a representative of Google or to your competitor? And if you wouldn't want to like tell Google what you're doing because you're afraid that they're gonna like say, well, you shouldn't be doing that. But guess what? You shouldn't be doing that, right? Help your users. Google is user focused. Make sure your content's good. Make sure your site is fast. Make sure that it's mobile friendly. Make sure it's easy to navigate. Make sure you don't have things popping up everywhere in front of blocking things. Make sure the site's not shifting around everywhere. Make it usable. Make it a good experience for the user, and Google will reward you. So that'll be my 2 cents on that.